Showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the I Am Salt Lake podcast. This is episode 133. My name is Chris Hollifield. I am your host. Welcome to the show. IamSaltLake.com is the website for the podcast. You can find out more about me, find out more about the podcast, as well as links for iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and the Mediocre Radio Network are all right there. Subscribe to the podcast, dig through the back archives, and listen to some episodes that you might not have had the opportunity to listen to. You can download them directly from the website. Before I do jump into this episode, I want to give some love to our sponsor, the Urban Lounge, located right in downtown Salt Lake City. Their website, theurbanloungeslc.com, is where you can go to find out about all the upcoming shows that are going to be coming there, as well as connect with them on Twitter and Facebook. Give them some love, and thank you so much, Urban Lounge, for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. In this episode, Canyon Jack Elliott, the accordionist for the local band Folk Hogan, came over to my apartment. We sat down, we chatted, found out a little bit about his musical history, as well as a Kickstarter that he's going to be launching here very shortly for a new project that he's going to be pursuing. So you're going to want to listen to the podcast as Canyon talks to you about it and shares with you his dream and his idea. And I cannot recommend you enough to support him. Should be a really, really cool endeavor that Canyon's going to be pursuing. You could check out his band at folkhogan.com. They got a lot of really great shows coming up. Buy their CDs, support them. They're one of my favorite bands here in Salt Lake City. So having Canyon on the podcast was a treat to have him and sit down and chat with him. I've had Moses now on the podcast. I've had Nick on the podcast. I had the band on the podcast in the beginning. I hope to bring the band back on before they do release their new album here in the next, I think it's May that they're going to be releasing that. So really great band. Again, their website, folkhogan.com. With that being said, let's jump into that conversation that I had with Canyon Jack Elliott as he came over to my apartment here in downtown Salt Lake City. Canyon Jack Elliott is on. That sounds so official.
It sounds like a fake name too, but
is it real?
It's my real birth name for sure.
It's your real birth name. I've had Moses, I've had Nick, I've had the entire band on the show, and now I get an opportunity to dig into your brain and find out a little bit more about you. You're the accordion player for Folk Hogan.
That's right.
I want to start. I've heard you've come from a pretty musical family.
Yeah, I did. Unbeknownst for a lot of my childhood, but when I found out later, yeah.
Let's talk about that. I mean, where did you grow up? Did you grow up here in Salt Lake?
I was born in Midway. I was over in between Park City and Orem, I guess, next to Heber. I was born in Snake Creek Canyon, and my old man was a hydroelectric engineer at the power plant up there, and so I was pretty much born, conceived, and educated in a hot tub by a power plant, which is great, I think.
And do your parents play musical instruments? My brothers and sisters play musical instruments?
My mom does a little, and she played a piano growing up in a Mormon family. Sorry. Growing up in a Mormon family, she played piano like you do. But my dad, I didn't know this until I was already into at least my teens, but my dad was a state champion piano player by the time he was 17. And he turned 18 and got drafted to Vietnam and couldn't make it to nationals. It was just insane for his whole family. But I didn't know any of that, growing up.
And did they keep it from you? They didn't want you to know?
I don't know. I think a lot of older musicians have the mentality of that it doesn't matter who you fall in love with, music is your wife, and anyone else is going to be your mistress after that. So, my mother didn't know my dad played music at all until their first wedding anniversary when he played a piano song for her. And that was when she found out.
So they're married. They're married for a year.
They're married for a year,
and all of a sudden, your dad comes out and plays a song on the piano.
Yeah.
And is he pretty good?
He's amazing.
And he blew your mom away.
Blew her away, but she was already married at that point. And I asked him
to your dad. She was married to.
Yeah, they were already married for a year. Yeah, exactly. And I asked him about that because I thought it was kind of bizarre. And he's like. He told me that when he was growing up, he felt like every girl he ever dated only dated him or liked him because of his musical abilities. So
he hid it from
He hid it from her until after they were married for a year. And then he, can play anything by ear that he ever has heard. And my mom was just blown away. And that was before I was born, of course. But
does your mom play any musical instruments?
Not really. Just the piano a little bit, like,
Your dad, did your dad teach her?
I don't think so. I remember my mom and dad, they had a studio once where my dad would record, and I think he was humoring my mother because I heard the vocal tracks that she sang, and we were driving along in the car one day, and we put in this tape we found, and we're like, who is this? Is this like the worst Celine Dion cover I've ever heard? And then you hear the music stop in the middle, and my dad come on the microphone and be like, that was a good job, Eli, do it again. And it was my mom singing, and it was just like the worst thing I'd have ever heard, and we were all making fun of it, and then you could hear my dad yelling at my mom, and they were both like, I can't believe we didn't know that was us.
Was your mom was in the car when you were making fun of the tape?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Was it pissing her off?
No, she didn't even realize. It was 15 years after they recorded it. She didn't even realize it was the tape that they had made for fun, like years ago when they had a studio. So it was really funny for me to see that. I was only 12 or 10, and I was like laughing, cracking up.
What about brothers and sisters? Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I do. I have an older brother who's solidly 15 years older than me, and my sister's 4 years older than me. And my brother did music to an extent, and my sister is a sandcastle builder in San Diego, California. So there's like lots of art and creation in this family for sure.
A sandcastle builder.
Yeah, professional sandcastle builder. She's won multiple
So she just goes and hangs out at the beach and makes sandcastles.
And now she gets paid for it. She not only competes in all the competitions, she got a job where people will fly you to like a hotel in a city and build a giant giant sand sculpture in their lobby, and she gets a few $1,000 for it and goes back home. And on the weekends, she hosts tour guides for tourists to come to San Diego to come and do an ice castle, why do I keep saying ice castle? Because I've been
the ice castles were just out in Midway, right?
They're next door to my house. I helped build those. So.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well, let's get into that here in a second. I'm intrigued by your sister here.
She's awesome.
I know she's not on the pod. I know we're here to talk about you, but I've never met somebody who is related to a sandcastle builder.
That's right.
So, I mean, do you go to school? Is there a degree in sandcastle building?
I think she should start a school.
No, I mean, how did she get in? Like, how does one get into being a sandcastle? Like, she was just making a bomb ass sandcastle on the beach one day, and they're like,
that was kind of it. I mean, it leads up to it. We used to go as a family to Bear Lake growing up. My uncle has property up there, and we used to go and visit. And my dad, once again, just a crazy man, he used to build these sandcastles, just giant ones on the beach that he'd spend 3 or 4 days doing. Had all the tricks worked out with the starch and sugar water and stuff that's actually illegal in competition building, which I didn't even know existed back then. But we'd help him. Me and my sister, all growing up, would do that every summer. And then when she moved to San Diego, we started doing it down there.
So sandcastle building didn't take her there. It wasn't.
No,
she went there anyways.
She went there because she married a Navy man. And they decided, San Diego is the best place to be in the Navy. So.
Oh, it's a beautiful city.
Oh, it's awesome. I've lived there for a couple of years of my life, off and on, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
It's just so expensive.
Yep.
To live down there.
It's not cheap unless you don't. You just sleep on the beach like I did. 4 months on the beach. The day after I graduated high school, I went straight to San Diego, lived on the beach for 4 or 5 months.
Like slept right on the beach.
Oh yeah, I got free food by playing guitar for people's campfires.
How long ago was this?
This was 10 years ago now. I was 18. Now I'm 28.
28, almost close to getting closer to the big 3-0.
That's right.
Does that make you nervous?
No,
turning
I'm excited.
30? 30 was kind of a big age for me. I was nervous. I was like, now I'm an adult. I felt like my 20s I still could get away with stuff. But 30s, it's like people expect for you to have your shit together, you know? It's like...
I guess. I don't know.
So the Midway ice castles, you helped build those?
Yeah, they were across the street just starting the project, and I just moved back home with my parents because of unfortunate loser circumstances, which happens, you know? I just walked over one day, and they were like, hey, you can work here. I'm like, can I work here? And so I helped them do the pre-building process. I'm by no means like an architect or anything.
See, I think they closed it, didn't they? It's not open anymore.
I don't think so. I saw it today and there were no cars there. So, and it's been so hot that if they're even a little bit questioning if they're dangerous or not, they'll definitely just start knocking the towers down. So.
I never went out to it. I'm sure a lot of people in Salt Lake did go see it? I mean, what was it? I mean, it was just a big ice castle.
Yeah. They used PVC pipe and just sprayed water 24 hours a day when it was above freezing. And they just build the ice castle.
And you took part of that? You helped do all of that?
Oh, yeah. It was awesome.
A lot of it.
I got to harvest icicles, and I got to place them and help build the structure that you would grow the icicles from.
So not only are you an amazing accordionist, you're an ice castle sculptor as well.
Right.
So if anybody wants you to make an ice sculpture, then you're the man for that.
Call me up, and I will probably say no. It's too cold.
Are you a big fan of the snow? Or are you getting excited for summer like I am?
I'm very excited for summer.
Summer is just, Salt Lake. I think it comes alive more in the spring and the summer. So
it does. I mean, I was into snowboarding a lot more about 10 years back. I worked at ski resorts for winters and just loved it, but not so much anymore. I'm ready for summer.
Do you snowboard at all now or no?
Not for 2 years. I haven't snowboarded.
What made you stop?
But mostly it's too expensive. I'm very, very poor.
That's been the typical answer I hear from the majority of the people that I talk to. So, an accordion player.
Yeah.
One day you wake up and you say, "I want to be an accordion player." I mean, how does this happen? I mean, it's one of the most unique instruments I think out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people are only familiar with like Weird Al or something like that plays the accordion.
I hope that at least people are familiar with Weird Al. I mean, that would be a good start for accordion, I think.
Well, he's a great accordion player.
Absolutely phenomenal musician, in fact. Like, his songwriting ship is great. Everyone thinks he's just a joke, but he's wicked talented.
Have you ever been to a Weird Al show?
I watched him on YouTube.
I went to when I was living out east, I had the opportunity to go to a Weird Al concert. If you ever have the opportunity, I didn't have to pay for it. So of course I went.
Yeah.
But after I left, I was like, I would have paid full ticket price for that. I mean, he changes the costumes and all that.
He's a showman for sure.
He really is. So back to the accordion thing here. How old were you when I mean, is this a pretty new instrument, right?
It's my newest instrument.
Well, what else do you play then?
I've played pretty much anything I've ever been able to get my hands on.
Let's start at your first instrument.
I think my first that I could really give credit was I had harmonica all growing up in my pocket.
You just carried it around and
it was just something I always had. Obviously, my folks provided me with that, and that was my first real instrument, harmonica. And
like how
a little bit
like
of piano.
how 5 years old,
4 or 5. Yeah.
And they didn't find that annoying. They didn't find.
I don't think I had the chance to annoy them. For most of my childhood, we lived 7 miles from the closest neighbor. And so I had a lot of roam time. I had horses when I was 12, and under. I had horses. I was a certified Missouri Foxtrotter horse breeder by the time I was 12 years old.
All right, let's stop there. A certified
Missouri Foxtrotter.
Missouri.
It's a type of horse.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the state Missouri. I was like, I thought you grew up in Midway.
No, it's a beautiful horse.
So you grew up around horses and what other animals did you grow up around?
Well,
I mean, you had a farm. You were a farmer.
We had it was a fun farm. We weren't farming for a living.
Fun farm.
Like after I was born, my dad got transferred to Preston, Idaho's Oneida Narrows power plant. And that is up in the mountains, 7-mile dirt road to my bus stop, like 30 miles to get a gallon of milk. That's what it was like. But it was this community that was built it was hopefully going to be a city, and it never took off because in 1984 they had, 15 buildings at a church, a schoolhouse, these garages, 2 barns, and then part of the hydroelectric dam broke and it drowned and killed 4 of the employees that were on site there. And after that, everybody, 2 families moved out, and then 10 years later, there's only 1 family, and then my dad was the transfer after that family left. And after we left, they went completely computer automated, and that place burnt down in a forest fire a couple of years ago. 15 houses and my barn, and it was awesome.
Just a big fire.
Yeah, it was just gone.
So did you enjoy growing up in the country then?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like...
Oh, yeah.
See, I grew up in the city, and then my mom wanted to move to the country, and I was like, no, I don't want to move to the country, Mom. I'm a city person. But I guess that's all you knew.
That was. I mean, for sure.
What do you think you enjoyed most about growing up in the country?
I don't know. I might have just grown up a little bit crazy, like talking to squirrels crazy. And I think that really worked out long term for me really well. I don't know how.
Kind of helped develop who you became, who Canyon is today a little bit.
By all means, I should be really socially awkward, but I'm not.
No, you're a pretty sociable guy.
I didn't really communicate. I didn't have friends. Friends weren't able to come up and visit me at my house unless they made an ordeal out of it with their whole family. You know, they couldn't drive. They'd have to have an hour.
Was it because their parents or it was just because it was so far away?
I mean, sometimes I'd not go home after school and I'd hang out with my friends in town in Preston, but then I'd have to worry about getting home, which is a little weird. I mostly preferred going home, and I had built, you know, by the time I left there, I built 4 or 5 tree houses in different areas on this 7-acre grass property we had that was surrounded by mountains for miles and miles and miles. It was just awesome.
So going back, okay, so harmonica was your first instrument, and then after that, where did you go? Let's talk musical instrument progression here.
Piano was the next one.
And did you learn how to play the piano pretty good?
Didn't. I don't remember this, but my parents insist that they put me in piano lessons when I was 7 or 8 years old for a month, and they said that I hated it and never wanted to play, which I thought was really weird. I do not remember this. I vaguely remember a really mean piano teacher, but I don't even know.
So your dad didn't even teach you piano, even though he knows how to play.
Oh, he knows, and he's been a teacher. He never necessarily discouraged me from playing music, but he never pushed me to do it. I think that it was a lot of difficult choices in his life. And so when I came out to him and was like, I'm going to be a musician.
At what age did you tell him
16.
that? 16.
That was when I really picked up the guitar, and I met Moses, and I had a crush on a girl who loved music, and I found out about the Beatles, and then all of a sudden nothing else really mattered anymore. It was...
Once you find out about the Beatles, man, that is like all that matters.
Up until that point, all I'd listened to until I was 16, the majority of my music was classical, and that's what I loved, and that's what I still absolutely love, classical music.
Like Mozart and Bach and
absolutely.
You still listen to quite a bit of that, huh?
Yeah, mostly on the radio, which I wish they'd announce artists a little more on public radio sometimes. But
so
awesome.
Piano, and then did you learn guitar, traditional guitar?
At 16, guitar and piano kind of really came into my life. Like Moses, the mandolin player for Folk Hogan, that's when we met.
Where'd you guys meet at?
In Midway.
Just hanging out at the same country store on the corner? Or?
Happened to live 2 blocks from each other in Midway. So it might have been a friendship of location to begin with, but it really turned out pretty well.
You guys hit it off pretty well in the beginning? Mm-hmm. Or did fight? Or you get along pretty good?
Okay, in the beginning, if you want to talk about this, I remember when I first transferred to that school, his girlfriend at the time apparently had a crush on me, and I didn't know it. So he secretly hated me for like 2 years.
He knew that his girlfriend had a crush on you.
Uh-huh.
She told him.
Yeah, I mean, not the greatest girlfriend. Or maybe she was great. I don't know. That sounds terrible.
And so because of that, he was nervous and didn't, so.
And a little apprehensive. Here's where our friendship hit it off. So he was sick in the office one day, and I wandered into the office. And
what office?
The principal's office, the front office.
At school. I was thinking work or
That's
something.
where you go if you try and get out of school, you know? We're 15 years old. We want to not be in school. I didn't really ever talk to him at this point. He's in there pretending to be sick, you know, and I walk in and my pants are ripped. My pants are ripped from my crotch to my knee. And I'm like, I need to call my dad. I need to ride home to get new pants. And it was like last hour of the day. So I was off anyways, probably at that point. And so I like kind of was looking at him, talking to him, and I'm like, you need to ride home? Cause found out he lives next door to me pretty much. And he's like, sure. So he, comes and gets in the car with my dad's driving once again. So freaking awesome. And my dad looks over at me and he's like, what happened? I'm like, I ripped my pants. I had to come home. And he looks back at Moses, leans back from the driver's seat, and he goes, spontaneous erection. And we were best friends ever since then, pretty much. So it was amazing.
So what brought you to Salt Lake? I mean, how old were you when you finally decided to venture to the big city?
Well, interesting. I don't know. I'll try to lead into this with a quick story.
Okay. Yeah.
I was working at the Canyon Ski Resort, right? A few years back when I was 18. Gosh, 10 years ago too. And a girl, beautiful girl, fell off my ski lift. On the top, she fell on the top ramp and fell down. I went to help her up, and I madly fell in love with her. And I ended up finding out that she was there on a vacation that all of her friends bailed out from. Like, she was the only one that came from the other side of the country, from New York. And so I befriended her for the week that she was there, and we kind of fell madly in love. And so I ended up moving to New York
for this girl.
For this girl, absolutely, and just moved right in with her. And I'd known her. I'd flown her out again to see me, and I flew out to.
So she was in love with you too.
Oh yeah,
you guys were just
it was, yeah. And I lost my virginity to her, and we were both virgins, and it was rad. It wasn't terrible, which I'm proud to say I didn't have a terrible lose my virginity story.
Well, I'm sure because neither one of you knew what you were doing. So it was.
I don't think so. I think I knew what I was doing somehow. I think I'd maybe watched enough porn by then. I don't know.
So you right to New York City, like Manhattan or Brooklyn?
I lived in Middleton, which is about a half an hour north of Manhattan.
In with this girl. I mean, how old was the girl?
She's 18. She was 19 when I moved up.
And she was living by herself too?
No, she lived with her mother, and
So you moved in with her
mom and
her
family.
mom.
And it apparently wasn't weird at all. Single mom.
And they
awesome
were okay. The mom was okay. Hey, here's this guy. He's moved.
I think she liked me a lot.
Did she ever hit on you?
No, I don't think she liked me that much.
Was she hot?
She was healthy.
She was a healthy older woman.
Healthy mother.
Anyways, well, she might be. Do you guys still communicate? She might be listening to this.
I don't think she will be. I haven't talked to her since I left. So we had the breakup.
Was it a messy breakup?
It wasn't messy. It was sad. I wasn't ready, I don't think, for living out there alone, and I wanted to come back at home and play music.
Well, 18, that's a rough age.
It's young age, and it was 19 by the time I left, and, Moses had called me one day, and I was really I wasn't digging it out in New York, so he's like, come play, I got a place to play if you want to come back here, and you can get a place to live where I'm living, and so
you came back to Utah, and it happened to be in Salt Lake City.
And it was, that's where he was, and that's why I moved here.
So you moved
20 years old.
You moved in. So you and Moses were roommates technically at one time.
He lived downstairs from me, so I mean, he had his little girlfriend and his family and things, and so there happened to be a place right upstairs at LaFrance's apartments downtown.
Oh yeah, right down by Pioneer Park. Yeah.
When I was 20 years old, I moved into there, and that's when I had my first drink, I would say. Yeah. Which is crazy. Most people are like, I started drinking booze at 12. I was 20. I was almost 21 before I had my first beer. So.
Yeah, no, I've heard some stories. One of my coworkers lives down there, so I've heard stories of that place.
It'll change you.
Was it Folk Hogan that made you kind of start the back to the accordion? I'm trying to figure out when you started playing the damn accordion.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So 3 years ago, my dad turns 68. He's 70 now, so 67, 68, and I don't remember what we were talking about, but he was basically told me I can't lift my accordion anymore. It's too heavy.
Your dad couldn't lift it.
He's like, I can't play it anymore. It's too heavy. My arthritis. And I'm like, can I, I didn't even have to finish the sentence. And he's like, yeah, it's yours. Take the accordion. And that night I drove back to Salt Lake to my house and called Moses and called my buddy Dave and had them bring their instruments over. And we wrote and played Zombie Prince that night. And that was the start of Folk Hogan, pretty much, right there on the porch of my house. Yeah,
because I got a little bit, Nick was recently on the podcast, which if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to, you kind of get the progression of all you guys. And I mean,
Nick's progression is so cool.
You guys got such a great story. So you're hanging out, and how long, because I'm trying to remember, Nick joined up with you guys. You guys were already practicing for a few months, I believe, right? Before Nick joined in?
We had played a few shows with our original guitarist, and we had our drummer, Jeremy, and I think Jared had even joined the band by then. We were getting into it, and then we lost our guitarist for many different reasons, and Nick was the guy that was willing to come and join the project. When he heard about Folk Hogan, he was like, this is cool. And I don't think that he maybe realized how big of an endeavor it was going to be, because we've been pretty successful.
I think your success is because you guys are all hard workers.
Very.
I mean,
and everybody does a different speciality.
Well, exactly. And
it covers so much.
It even goes back to the band where you guys really, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys picked an instrument that you didn't typically play. You, the accordion, Moses, the mandolin, and, whatever else, the hiking shoes or whatever other sounds you guys make in your recordings. But then you focus just on that for the band. So it makes the band, in my opinion, successful. It isn't like, okay, I have, that's what makes the band. So how the hell do you even learn how to play the accordion? I mean, is there accordion teachers in town?
Yeah, I'm sure there are.
But you didn't take any lessons.
I didn't search any out. I just kind of sat on my front porch for, 8 hours a day for an entire really hot summer.
Just going back and forth with that.
Playing both sides, writing songs and figuring out parts till my fingers could do it without me thinking. And at some point I got so much muscle memory going on that I could just, I don't know, be as drunk as I could possibly be. And I couldn't sing anymore, but I could still play the parts, which is kind of where you want to be practice-wise. Like if you can't play in a semi-sleep stage, then you're probably not ready.
And I don't think I got into this with Nick, but where was the first Folk Hogan show at? Where was the very first show at?
The very first show was at City Limits in Provo, and it was a Halloween show. And me and Moses and Dave dressed as the three main characters for Spinal Tap. And we got booed off the stage.
Folk Hogan got booed off the stage.
First show.
Because were you guys that bad?
I don't think we were bad. The people that were there liked us, it seemed like. But after we were done with our last song, this lady came up and everybody thought she was our friend. And she wasn't our friend. She came up and grabbed one of the microphones and just started being like, "This band sucks. You guys are the worst thing I've ever heard." And when everyone was just like, "Okay, is that your friend?" And it sure wasn't.
And so because of this lady, everybody started kind of going along booing.
No, I don't think anybody else did, but it was really weird to have, there wasn't even enough people there to have her get someone on her side, to be honest.
Yeah.
She's a really, looked like a really haggard, middle-aged, single, unhappy woman, so we kind of just let it be, I think.
Would you say that the instrument that you play the best is the accordion?
Right now, it's mostly because I play it so much.
Heavily played instrument.
Yeah. I mean, recently I was training to play at the Tabernacle as one of their pianists, and I got my piano chops back up pretty good. And I don't know, I'm really good at piano. It's hard for me to call which one of those two for sure.
Do you ever just take your accordion out in the street and like a street performer?
No,
I mean, like at farmers market or that. You have a problem with street performers?
I can't do it. Why? Busking is what I call it.
Busking.
And if I go out doing that with someone else, I kind of feel okay with it. I feel like maybe we're two people playing together, performing on the street, and people can leave their ones. I cannot go out alone and do it. I feel like it's just like begging, and I don't feel right about it. I'll play out on the street, but I won't open my case. And it seems really silly.
See, and I don't look at it that way. I like during summertime and farmers market, I love to go downtown in the music on the streets, and you go over here and this person's playing the guitar and this person's playing the banjo. And I wish there were more street performers. I look at it as just adding, what's the word? Entertainment to the city, and then you put a hat out there. Why not get a few dollars? You're not begging for it. In my opinion,
it feels weird for me is all. We've done it. I've done it a lot in Park City with Moses, but like I said, if I'm with someone, it's okay. If I'm not with someone, I'll play, but I can't open my case. I can't ask for money if I'm all alone.
Well, I was even just more curious, if you've ever thought about just doing the accordion more solo. Even at a wedding or
I've done a wedding. I've actually hosted a wedding and played accordion, walked around while everyone was having dessert, and I sang a silly song for a friend of mine, and it was fun, but
it wasn't where your heart was.
Oh no, that's not. I don't like playing cover songs very much, and that's generally what people are like.
Why is that? Why don't?
I just never have. I've always had a penchant for writing music. It's what I'm absolutely best at, and so when I try and learn other people's songs, I'm able. I can't. If I feel the love for the song, I'll play it really well. But I just can't. I can't get into it.
What music? You mentioned classical music. You listen to a lot of classical music.
Mm-hmm.
What is some other music that you listen to today?
Today?
Not necessarily just today, but right now. You obviously probably consume a lot of music.
I consume a lot of music. I've been doing a lot of podcasting lately. Oddly, I got the Stitcher app, and I've logged 600 hours in the last year, which is sweet.
Well, let's talk podcasting. What are some podcasts that you listen to? I bet you listen to some really far. I just can't imagine you.
They're not far out. I listen to stuff you should know and stuff you missed in history class and Freakonomics and Radio Lab and Geek Show. And I listen to Penn Jillette's Sunday School, which is just awesome and hilarious.
I've never listened to that one.
99% Invisible, Planetary Radio. Really nerdy, kind of fun, sciencey stuff most of the time, or slapstick comedy.
What do you like about podcasts? What is it that
I'm a fan of the talking information. I like whenever I drive long distances, most people listen to music. I can only do it if I listen to like talk radio, which puts most people to sleep. But
see, I'm the same way.
The constant stream of information going in my head keeps me way alert, and I register it, and I just love everything that goes in. And if it sucks, I zone out, and that's when I come up with my best ideas, is when I have headphones on listening to someone else talk, which is really weird.
Have you ever thought about doing a podcast?
I've thought about it, and it seems difficult.
What seems difficult about it?
The consistency of making it good, maybe. Like 1 or 2 podcasts it seems like it'd be a little easier than 50. You know what I mean?
Well, you can't look at it it's so big. You can't look at it like, oh gosh, if I'm going to start this and then maybe after 5 episodes you find out you don't want to do it. But I think somebody like you could provide something. I don't know.
I've wanted to join a podcast. I heard there was like a feminist talk podcast I wanted to be the male opposing view on, which I thought would have been great.
Well, shoot, you could maybe,
I think that podcast failed.
Join up. We could figure something out here.
Let me know. I think I have a lot of good things to say. So
yeah,
especially about relationships and ladies.
Well, you can give me some advice on relationships. So anyway, I need some help here.
I think you're doing great. You're in the same boat as I am.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What boat is that? The dry spell boat or what?
It's the recently single, not getting nagged, but also not getting laid boat.
Yeah, well,
Is that about, no?
Anyway, so Folk Hogan. So back to Folk. Let's change this. No, I really don't mind talking about relations. That would be fun to do. Like there's a lot of them out there, but I think it would be fun to do a relationship podcast.
It would, especially as the opposing view. If I was surrounded by 3, I don't know what to say, feminists is what I'd say. Maybe like chivalry isn't dead. You should open doors. And I don't think chivalry's dead, but I think all girls kill chivalry. So I have a lot of opinionated things to say about that. Starting with I've had more girls yell at me for opening a door for them than thank me, which I think is messed up.
Isn't that weird? Okay, so I've recently, I'm in the dating game. Mm-hmm. This is going to go way off topic, and I apologize, but that's the world of podcasts.
Oh, the tangent.
Paying for a girl, for their food or for a movie. You take them on a date. Mm-hmm. I've had girls pissed off at me for paying for them, but I've always just thought that's what a guy does.
It's not even what a guy does. It's what when you invite someone out.
No, I'm a woman. I'm going to pay for my own way.
And that's fine if you want to go. If you want splits.
But then, okay, so then this is my question for you. Mm-hmm. Okay, relationship advice person.
All right, go on.
Go. If a girl says, "Oh no, here," they reach for their wallet. And they're offering to pay for half of their meal or half of the bar, whatever. Mm-hmm. You were planning on getting it anyways. Do you let them just pay for it? Or is it a setup for them to see, is this guy going to really buy my meal? Or is this guy going to, they're reaching for their wallet when you get the movie tickets and you can't, okay, you kind of try to pace. Are they going slow? Are they going fast for their wallet?
I don't know.
It's a test.
You judge it based on how the date's going, I guess. This chick clearly hates you and just is embarrassed to be on the rest of the dinner and finish her lobster. Yeah, you can buy your own lobster. You can have a terrible time. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've never, that's been such it's like, well, I don't know. Women nowadays, and I apologize, they're different than they were when I was single before.
I feel like we are the rarity now, and we need to just find the right women, the ones that aren't offended by our little gestures of love.
It's like, okay, I don't care if you pay sometimes.
That's fine.
But it's like, hey, I was going to buy you dinner. I mean, sometimes if I might take you out to dinner, Canyon, and I might pay for your dinner, and that doesn't mean I expect anything.
I think a good way to start is when you ask someone out on a date, be very forward with what your intentions are. Like, I intend to buy you dinner and take you out to a movie, and you don't have to bring your wallet. And if you make it apparent from the first that this isn't just like friends hanging out and we're going Dutch, you should make sure those lines are set before you even try and start a relationship.
Yeah, I guess. It's still hard, man. You're younger. You're younger than I am. And what'd you say? You're 28 years old? God, I would do anything to be 28 again.
Me too.
Anyways, Folk Hogan. What do you enjoy the most about the band? Like there's probably so many things. But what is if you could only pick one thing, what do you enjoy most about playing in Folk Hogan?
Like I said, there's lots of things. I think lately the thing I'm most appreciative about is that they're like my family. They can't write me off.
And I was wondering if you were going to go there.
Absolutely. Like those guys, this last year has been absolutely the worst year of my life, and they maybe necessarily didn't even want to stick around on my side, but they didn't really have a choice. And I think that's kind of what family is sometimes. And they helped me get through it all. So, and love me just the same for it. I think that is probably the best thing overall. I mean, there's the drinking and there's the music and the party and the adrenaline rushes of playing live. It'd all be kind of worthless if you didn't have those guys.
And that's one thing I've noticed about, you guys watching you play live, the times that we have talked, when I've had individuals on the podcast, you guys all speak so highly of each other. You guys really seem to have a connection that I think a lot of bands don't ever get to.
Yeah, I hope so.
And you guys have we'll talk briefly about this, because I'm going to have the whole band on here in a few weeks. I guess it really would be, at this point. Yeah. You guys have a CD coming out here shortly.
That's right. We have the show. It's called The Show.
That's the title of this.
That's the title of it.
Yes, and I don't know I know we talked about it with Nick. I don't think we got to that if there was a title. It was like a break. You guys are all done recording now, right?
There might be a couple callbacks for tracks, but we're into the mixing process already. So,
because when I had Nick on the show, I think you were halfway done or something like that, or some long nights recording.
Last Sunday we just did the we have planned a big fun day of all the random sound effects we're going to want on the album. We brought timpanis in and marimbas and just all types of crazy sound effects maker. We had one of those hammer guns that drill nails into cement. We recorded that a few times for different sound effects, and
we just had a lot of fun.
And that was like the super, super fun day. And that was pretty much the last day of official recording for the most part. So yeah, we're done. We're waiting. So it's going to be a 15 song long. It's looking like just massive concept album. It's about a type of circus, and it goes through all the characters, and they kind of all just self-destruct and kill each other. It goes from a folk album to a metal album pretty quick. It's just really awesome.
Do you have a planned release date yet, or is
the last I heard was my birthday on May 17th?
Well, that will be a great birthday present.
Which will be the end day of this Kickstarter that we're starting.
Yeah, and
we're gonna
get into that here in just 1 second. No, absolutely. And I kind of wanted to jump into it in the beginning because this is the whole reason you reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to come on your podcast and talk about this crazy idea I have." But, Folk Hogan, I'm going to try to get you guys, I was talking to Moses. I want to get you guys on the podcast, like before the CD comes out, hopefully play a song or two as a teaser before, when I think we'll get the whole band.
By then we should have
we'll get the whole band. What about, you guys thought about doing vinyl records or anything, or people just don't buy vinyl records?
We're considering doing a reprint of Band of Mighty Souls on vinyl with the original mastering by Brad McCarley, which would be fun.
Because I would
over at Salt Lake Recording Services.
I'd buy it on vinyl.
It'd be really cool.
Now what about the new album? Who's doing the artwork for that? Do you know who's doing the artwork?
We have a few people working on it already, and we're gonna have a more possibly.
Or maybe you can't talk about that.
It's a little top secret.
Okay, well we don't need to talk about that. I'm just trying to get good info out of you.
Let's see. What can I say that won't be bad? We're gonna have.
No, we don't need to.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to. Just wait till the band comes.
I don't want to get you in trouble. Let's talk about your Kickstarter.
Okay, let's go.
You email me one day. Canyon sends me a message, and he says he's telling me, Chris, I got this crazy idea. That was a water bottle for people listening. Anyways, so you email me. You said I have this crazy idea. I want to do a Kickstarter to raise funds. I'm not even going to try to explain it. I'm going to have you. What the hell are you doing? What is this? Where do we start with this? With this Kickstarter.
So, like we were talking about earlier, I've had like a pretty bad year last year. What happened with all of it is all of my potential endeavors kind of all collapsed on themselves at once, and I lost all my jobs and monies and ended up moving back home with the folks at 28, which is just beautiful.
Was that tough?
Oh, it's still tough, man. It's so bad. But I was wicked depressed. I was in in space. I couldn't have been more cold and alone, I don't think. And this little idea was the only thing that I was able to grasp out of it. And it literally pulled me out of this depression. Like, this idea is so cool to me that there's no way I can't do it after how I felt about it. So yeah, I called you, and the idea is basically to make just a massive 100-song long choose your own adventure concept album. And it'd be like just the biggest album that's been created, possibly, which is going to be awesome.
So, I mean, describe that. So, are people going to be able to subscribe at any time, or is it only going to be during the Kickstarter? Like, let's say the Kickstarter is successful.
Okay.
Which we're all crossing our fingers that it is.
When it is.
When it is.
No.
Like, say somebody finds out about it 3 months down the road, and you're into this project. Can people join in at any time? Is that how it works?
I don't think so. I think I'm going to have my initial investors, is what we call them, I guess.
Okay.
And they're the ones that are going to get access.
Backers. I think they're called backers.
The backers. They're going to get access to the website that I'm building. So let me explain the project a little more.
Explain the project a little more.
The idea of it is to...
It blows my mind.
Build a 100-song plus concept album that is choose your own adventure. You can pick which way to go. You know, if you want to go to the club, then you go to this way to the.
So you're listening to a song, and then the song's over. It will say, like, do you feel
hungry?
No, I mean, like,
go to McDonald's.
Well, I'm trying to remember those books. You know, turn to page 67 if you want to.
This is the weirdest part that I'm having to figure out is how to most efficiently guide people through the different potential stories. And obviously, the easiest solution would be to have a physical piece of paper that gives you questions, but we're working on stuff.
There's a lot of stuff still in the works, really, is what you're saying.
I'm having some major web development for these ideas that I'm working with.
So are people going to be able to watch you in your house?
It's not in my
like a Big Brother type of thing. I mean, my understanding
for the album, I think a great way to start it. Check this out. Would be that every time that you push play on the album, there's a dream track, and say there's 15 dream tracks. So every time you play it, it's a different song that starts. And then the second song is like an alarm song, and that's almost always the same song the second time. It's when you wake up in the morning and you have to make a choice to, go brush your teeth or go have cereal or go outside and go start your day. So the first song would be a different dream song, and one out of every, 50 times you listen to it, it would be great if your alarm wouldn't go off, and you wouldn't wake up and you'd have a different path from that thing. And just all these songs that I'm going to write over the next year, we're going to use to build massive, comprehensive stories and release it as one giant album, which is awesome, I think. Yeah.
How long do you think that album will be?
So I think I'm planning for 100 tracks, and 100 tracks, roughly 5 minutes each, is going to be about 8 hours, 8-hour album.
So you could get it and listen to it on a good road trip.
On a good road trip or a hard work day, but you could listen to it multiple times and not get the same story twice, which is cool.
Amazing.
I hope so.
Have you, I've never heard of anything like this.
I haven't either. It's kind of, I'm so stoked on it. I've seen one other band that I could find that was trying to do a choose your own adventure album, which I think might have just been the name of the album and not the idea behind it, because they started a Kickstarter and they got funded and no product ever came of it. And it was only planned 12 songs. So how can you pick a choose your own adventure album in 12 songs? That doesn't make any sense at all.
So honestly, I think, if people listening are having a hard time understanding, I think when it really pulled together for me, you sent me a link today of your mock-up Kickstarter page. Yep. Obviously, at the time of this recording, it hasn't launched yet. When are you planning on it launching? Pretty much when this episode goes up.
I think this is the best start to have.
Best start. So anyways, I think going to the Kickstarter page is going to be the best way to probably find out, to read about it.
Yeah, I've got pretty descriptive sections on everything that I'm planning so far to do, and I'm still building it, which is great. I have to talk about all my team members that are going to help. I got a pretty awesome team helping me with this.
And what I'm going to do actually, I'll make a link. What it'll do is it'll forward to the Kickstarter, because I'm going to support you with this, because I think it's an incredible idea. So, Kickstarter pages, you can probably find I know you have the project on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So go like, what is it under on Facebook?
It's under A Year in the Life.
A Year in the Life. I'll put all the links on the show notes for this episode.
Yeah, I'll give you all of them. Instagram has been really handy for me so far too, which I'd never used before. But
did you make an Instagram for this Year in the Life?
Yep.
Okay.
And it's a cool program. I never thought it was that easy to run. By the way, it's great.
Instagram is fantastic.
Yeah,
it really is, and I think what I like about it is, I mean, obviously I'm on all the social medias and stuff, but it really just kind of. It's the very raw. There's not all the, you don't have to share that much about your life. It's just a photo, so a lot more people are willing. So anyways, I'm sure you've pitched this idea, the Kickstarter, to quite a bit of people.
Yep.
A handful of people. What has been the response?
It's been
pretty good.
It's been all positive. The only negative thing is people are like, that's just really, really lofty. Like lofty is the word that is used most. Like that's a lofty goal. And yeah, it is. And I think it's not, for me, it's not going to be the scariest thing in the world. The songwriting part of it is what I'm best at. So I'm not worried about that.
I think if you get this in front of the right people, this could really take off, my opinion.
I've got a pretty good advertising campaign started. I'm going to be releasing like a video every day up until the release and then all the way through and until I don't get the money or I do. And then I'll continue writing if I do, which is awesome.
How much money are you looking to raise?
Right now, the funding, it seems like quite a hefty number. I'm at like $250,000, like $250,000, but I'm building a studio and holding it for a year and recording with all these different musicians every day for that year. So it's not, when you think about it, it's not that out of control. A soundboard alone, you can spend $1 million easy on. And
why do you feel you need to build a studio? Why can't you just find an existing studio?
I don't want it to be like in someone's house. I want this place to be a building that is just ready for creation. Like it makes you feel absolutely no stifling in any way. And I've got my real estate friend, Imuna Nilsson, working on it over at Keller Williams. And I think she found us a place that's an old boxing studio. And it's a 2-story open, like 18-foot ceilings. That's the place that I'm thinking as of now that we're going to hold. And I'm pretty excited. It's very exciting.
So $250,000 is what you're looking to raise. And I saw on the Kickstarter page, I don't know if it's going to be on there on the launched page, but it kind of breaks down on why you need so X amount of dollars for X amount of things. So people listening, when you see this, it's not like you're just looking to get, it's like, well, there's logistics behind this and there's reasoning behind this. How long are you hoping? I mean, how long is the Kickstarter? How long are you hoping to raise the money? Like, how long do you plan on running the Kickstarter in hopes to run the money?
Right now, I'm planning on running it until my birthday of May 17th. It's called A Year in the Life because I want to spend the entirety of my 29th year of life working on it. When I turn 30, I want this album to be the culmination of that year. It's kind of important to me to have that taking up my whole 29th year, actually. It's awesome. So that's why it's A Year in the Life. I forgot what your question was.
No, pretty much, how long because I know Kickstarters can run for different lengths of time.
Yeah, they recommend like 30 days to make it urgent, but mine's set right now at, I think it's like 75.
Okay, so you can set it for quite a while.
And it's set like that, like I said, just because I wanted to end on my birthday, and then that's when the project will really begin. And I might have to push that date back a little bit more because my web people tell me of how long it's going to take to build the website, that if I want it built and ready by the time the project is supposed to start, to have people be able to come in and do all the things I want them to be able to do, then I might need a little more time.
No, I got you.
Which means I'd end the Kickstarter earlier. But
and there's different things for different amounts of money. We don't necessarily, we can get into what kind of rewards people get if you want to. But, people can go to the Kickstarter page too and see. One thing I think people need to realize with Kickstarter is they're not, like, say I decided to become a $50 backer for your Kickstarter, hypothetically speaking, Even though I submit my credit card, they don't take anything unless the Kickstarter makes it.
That's right. I think they hold it.
They hold it or something like that. But this is the way I say is it's like, let's let Canyon get his dream and we get something awesome in return, because I want to see this.
Well, it's not just something awesome in return. It's the biggest album ever made. I mean,
and didn't you say like a Guinness record or something bizarre like that?
I've applied and got a response from Guinness as it wasn't even part of the plan, but it was something I figured out later, that if I accomplished this goal of the 100-song album, 100 song is the minimum. If there's more and the songs are good enough, the public likes them, we're going to have more songs. But a 100-track album that's 8 hours long is going to set 2 world records for longest album and most tracks on an album. And I've applied and got a response from Guinness, and they're putting it into official review already just for the idea of it. And
you need to get like this in front of like NBC or Fox or, maybe you already have.
I haven't gotten the networks on my side just yet. No.
Have you been following other Kickstarters very much, like to see what makes some of them successful? Or
I actually haven't. Kickstarter, I guess I've had an account for like 3 years. I must have signed up in 2010 or something, but I kind of think I thought it wasn't real. Like I thought it was a scam when I went on there originally, and
this is a fake website.
I just never looked at it again. I'm like, there's no way they're giving someone $100,000 to make Michael the children's story worm book or something. I'm just like, this is a scam.
It's a great concept,
and it's not a scam. Apparently, after I've met lots of people, they're like, yeah, I got 30 grand for my project from Kickstarter. I'm like, are you serious? That's real? And so
it's fantastic.
And my deal wasn't originally to use Kickstarter. It had nothing to do with that. I just wanted to make a big album, and Kickstarter seemed like the real means to make it happen. The only way I could make it happen, actually. So I'm really hoping that your podcast listeners and the whole Mediocre Nation would just spread the word a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, let's make it happen. You're going to get something never seen before in return.
Well, and so you have your Facebook, people can share stuff on Facebook,
and
get that word out, connect with you on Facebook. Are you going to have a Twitter account? Do you get into Twitter at all?
I've got them, and they're all linked and kind of working together. So when I post to one, they all do it. So that's all already set up. And I've got this that I'm releasing the same day. And 2 days after this podcast comes out, I'm going to go up and be on PCTV for an interview with Terry Burden
for the Kickstarter.
For the Kickstarter, and I'll have that video to put on my page in 2 days after it launches, which will look really good, and hopefully a lot of people will see that. I don't know.
And again, I'll put all the links so you can just go to the iamsaltlake.com website under the show notes for this episode to connect with you on Facebook and the Instagram, all the connections to get involved. The Kickstarter link once I have that. I'll have it on there, and I'll
I'm going to put a link to your podcast on my Kickstarter.
Well, thank you. Very nice.
It'll be good.
Yeah, no. That's kind of even. Do you have any musicians? I mean, I'm assuming musicians from Salt Lake are down to be part of this, right? I mean, any besides Folk Hogan?
They're one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this project is because I know
there's so much good music in Utah.
There is, and playing with the band in the last 3 years, I've played with bands my whole life. These last 3 years have been incredible. Every musician you meet that plays in every band you play with, it's like, let's play a song together, let's do this. And there's just never a project. And so we never find the time to really give each other to do projects. And this project is the time to play with everyone I've really ever met. I mean, if I have one musician come in a day for the year, that's 365 musicians, which I'm not going to do every day, but that's probably every musician that I can get a hold of. And I think that's awesome.
What I'd like to do is when this becomes successful.
Yeah.
I want to bring my podcast stuff there and record an episode with a bunch of musicians, maybe play some music.
You've got to.
See, and that's another reason for you guys to donate. The listener, you guys listening, if you want to hear me record a podcast with a bunch of fantastic musicians, donate to Canyon's Kickstarter.
That's right.
Anything else? I mean, did we kind of cover everything with the Kickstarter?
The idea. We've covered the idea. I think what I want to explain to people too is the coolest part for my backers and the fans of this project is going to be the website that we're building. I have Thought Lab in Salt Lake. They're building all my websites, and it's custom made website. It's going to have really awesome things on it, where every song that I'm writing in the process of writing will be posted live. So you can go onto the website and click on the song that I recorded Tuesday, listen to it, comment on it, say this song's terrible, don't put it on the album, or this song needs a hammered dulcimer immediately. And I can read those and, respond possibly and help. You guys are going to help make the album better as it grows. And it's all going to be, every song's going to be interactive for the whole year to the people that are the members, essentially. The followers, and I'm just so excited about it. It's such a good, we're going to have a live webcam in the studio that's pointed towards the stage, and that's going to be 24 hours a day, anytime there's any music happening, and there will be music constantly.
And only the backers will have access to this.
That's right. I mean, you get the access to the webpage. If you don't, then there's going to be a free roam section where you can't comment and you can't listen to the new music. You can maybe look at like special clips that I've posted, but if you want to get the feed and see me and every Salt Lake musician create live, I mean, you can put it up on the background at your house and just have, I don't know, live music going and watch the progression. About once a month at least, I'm going to be throwing private show functions with at least one of the bands that I recorded with from that week or that month will come and play a show on a Friday night, and I'll invite, some really awesome people to come watch, and you can put that up on your TV at home and have a party at the same time.
Maybe get some touring bands even.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure if this gets some attention, this might.
People up my sleeve already. They're waiting for it. Like everybody's waiting for it to drop first of all, and just hopefully be really successful really quickly so we can get this going. I mean, I'm very excited. I'm just so stoked. I can't even sleep. I haven't been able to sleep in 3 weeks, like 4 hours every 2 days. Been incredibly,
just because you got so much on your mind.
I have so much on my mind, and it never stops coming out either. I filled up this entire compositions notebook in like the last 2 weeks
with just ideas,
just with ideas and like different. Yeah, I just write down everything. That's what I've learned is that's the number one thing of if you want to do anything is write your damn ideas down. That's all you have to do. You can go back and read your ideas often later and write everything down.
So you use just a pen and paper?
Pen and paper.
You're not like, you don't type notes into your iPhone?
I don't. It doesn't, my mind doesn't process right when I'm typing like C-A-T runs. So I write down in cursive. I don't know if you can see, and it's really bad cursive.
Wow. You're actually an old school cursive writer.
And then I'll go through after the ideas and I'll read them. And then I'll speak them into my notes app, and it'll just take all my notes for me digitally. So I don't have to type anything in, actually. It's awesome. So I just talk to Siri, and then she takes all my notes after I have it in this book and get them organized. I love Siri. Me too, actually.
I'm trying to get her to love me back.
She's so mean. You ask her personal questions, she's like, I can't answer that, Canyon. I don't know if that's appropriate. I'm like, whatever.
Oh man, it's been enjoyable. I'm glad you reached out. I'm glad you
said yes.
You contacted me, and I hope people get involved. And if you're listening, I'm gonna do this for you. Mm-hmm. But if you're a podcaster that's listening to this, or if you have a radio show, get in touch with Canyon. Get in touch with him.
Do it.
And
I'm very open.
I mean, seriously, no. I mean, I want them to get you on their show because I want to see this Kickstarter be successful.
Yeah, do it. I'll make the time.
No, I seriously do. Even if you, like, let's say you're listening and you're out of state. I'm sure you could do a phone interview, do a phone conversation. FaceTime. I mean, there's podcasters, in Salt Lake, area. I want to see this project, successful. I want to come and hang out in this studio, and
it's going to be awesome.
I
want that too. I really do. I love to FaceTime, just so you guys know. So if anyone wants to have ideas chatting with me, I will definitely FaceTime with you.
You'll definitely.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's so Back to the Future. I just love it.
See, and I've never FaceTimed with anybody yet. We'll have to FaceTime.
I'll FaceTime the crap out of you.
Will you tell me goodnight?
Absolutely. Yeah. Sing your lullaby.
Anything else you want to talk about the Kickstarter before we stop talking about it, or anything else you want to mention about it? Follow along on Facebook. Yeah. I think that's going to be the best way for the story to unravel.
This story is really, it's just progressing. It's evolving constantly, and the main ideas are there now, and the main plan, the whole business plan is there, and we're making it all pretty now.
Should write a book about it too, about that year.
That would be. You're a genius. I'll just start a podcast or.
No, just write a book, like a novel or a biography of the year, a year in the life of Canyon.
I think that if I keep writing in these,
you just keep writing in that, and then you'll eventually publish your best stuff. Yeah. Folk Hogan's got some shows coming up. I want to, mention about that before, unless there's anything else you want to mention about the Kickstarter before we stop talking.
Definitely go to the website.
Go to the website. Go to the website.
More than you can.
Go to, if you can't, anyways, I'll have all the links on the show notes. Folk Hogan, is there any upcoming dates that you want to mention?
There are, but they're going to be done by the time this show airs.
We'll go to folkhogan.com. That has all the shows that you guys are playing to keep up with you guys. Folk Hogan on Facebook. Gosh,
I'm even thinking it's March coming up next month.
You got St. Patty's Day. You're for some Gracie's, reason, I think it is, right? You guys are playing Gracie's.
We're playing in Park City, and we're playing at the Canyons. We're playing at Flanagan's.
Are you guys going to do? Are you going to do a Green Pig show? Aren't you doing one in March since you canceled on us?
Yeah, and we should.
I know you guys. I know you guys. Sick, Moses. I'm not mad at you, Moses. I was so excited for that night.
I was too. I've been promoting the crap out of it. Green Pig shows are awesome. They're free shows. We get to play for 3 hours.
But it's hard to find a seat.
And that's such good news. For me.
It is. It is. But go early if you want a seat. Go early, and folkhogan.com would probably be the best place for people to keep up with everything. Folk Hogan, you got your old album that's still for sale. Mm-hmm. Buy that.
We got a 2-song LP coming out before the show comes out in May, which will be cool.
Okay, so
we've got like a little Stave You Off from Disaster album coming out just for the fans to kind of get you ready, I guess, for this massive thing we're releasing. We recorded it at the same time, and it's going to be awesome.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Canyon, for coming on the podcast. I've had a blast. I can't wait to have you back on.
Thank you.
Catch up with you. I want this Kickstarter to be a success.
Let's make it happen, people.
We're going to make it happen. You're going to hear me talking about it a lot on future episodes of the podcast. Hopefully. We're going to follow along with your story as
when it gets going, definitely come in and write a song with me. Even if you never write a song, well, write a song with me.
Dude,
I'll record the whole thing.
I would love to.
Yes.
I'd love to write a song about my life or Salt Lake or just some random day in my life.
That's it. Perfect.
All right. Thanks a lot, Canyon.
Thank you.
All right. Many thanks goes out to Canyon for coming on this episode of the podcast. Thank you so much. I'd love to hear your feedback on this episode or any of the other episodes of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. You can give the voicemail a call at 385-202-5926. Call it up. Let me know what you're thinking of the podcast. If you would like to come on the podcast, I'd love to bring you on and have you share your story with the rest of Salt Lake City. Hey, up until, I believe it's February 28th, you can head on over to the City Weekly. They're having the Best of Utah voting going on right now, and it would mean a lot to me if you would head on over there and vote for I Am Salt Lake for Best Podcast. Takes you just a few seconds. You have to just vote for 10 different candidates that you believe for different categories and just write in I Am Salt Lake for Best Podcast. I'm going to end this episode playing a song from Folk Hogan off their Band of Mighty Souls album that you can purchase right on iTunes. You can also purchase it from the Folk Hogan website at folkhogan.com. I'm going to end it playing Ashley. And with that being said, make sure to subscribe in iTunes. I'm here once a week. IamSaltLake.com. Thank you so much for listening. You guys have a great week.
Well, it seems I wrote you a slow song, lovers want to be on, longing to tell you the most amazing thing that I ever have seen. And your presence it leaves me with shadow shock, or am I just hungover from shock talk? Either way through my day, I see is flashes of you as I wander around, and always quiet and patiently it seems, 'cause I'm singing all our dreams again. And you show up in your finest working dress, ready to impress, but you already impressed me. so kindly, how are you? But I'm totally afraid to call you. Being too quick to shout, push so many of your kind right out of the door. And I'll wait here quite impatiently, it seems, 'cause I'm singing out our dreams again. And you'll show up in your finest working dress, ready to impress, but you've all